then verse 32, but I have prayed for thee that thy faith fail not, and when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. Damn. So staying strong and staying rooted and remembering the cause. Because, well, of course, you make sacrifices. You make sacrifices in relationships. You make sacrifices on, really the hardest ones are relationships. Relationships with people, relationships with significant others. And a lot of times denying your own self in the flesh. Because that's the biggest hurdle is yourself.
All right, Shalom. This is Ariel Ben Yasharallah, down in the Lions Den camp. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Father and to the Son in the Paleo Hebrew tongue. Call Layam La, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ha, Rachak Wadash Ma'amath. A double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well. A double honor to my elder apostle as well, and down here in the Lions Den camp, a hard one by Yasharallah. And this is Sir Thawada to the Akwathium, the Akim, the Aquatim, and the Bunyam, the brothers, the sisters, and the children who are pushing the truth and believe it with sincerity. The water, Shalom. This is a quick laying backing off the lesson, the clip of the lesson that you just heard. I'm gonna play it again real quick, just so you know. I make sure I'm saying it right. And there was a brother's lesson. Oh snap! Hold on a second. Kind of had to look at the clip real quick, but the part where he says remembering the cause, all right, remembering why we're doing all this. We held Passover yesterday, and that was that's like the best checkpoint to remembering the cause. All right, not only in the Passover is not only about us, about not say about us, but about the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai helping us flee out of Egypt, but also about the sacrifice of Yahweh Shai. All right, the brother Rachel went into it about sacrifices. I'll to that part real quick.
Your own self in the flesh, relationships with people, relationships with significant others. And a lot of times denying your own self in the
relationships with significant others. That's what Yahushua was going through, and also denying yourself. Yahushua had to deny himself to allow himself to get captured, to allow himself to perish at the hands of the Romans. Okay, and he didn't do it for himself. He did it for the Lord, for the Father. All right. Same way we have to be about our Father's work. All right. Same way Yahushua was. And at the same time, remembering the sacrifice that Yahushua gave ultimately for us to go back unto the Father. All right. So with that, this is Matthew chapter 26. This is verse 7, because I also wanted to touch on the point of how going into the point of remembering the cause. This is why so many of the people, Christians, the Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, they'll celebrate, or they'll have some type of little ceremony going into, eating the bread and drinking the wine. They all kind of do that. They know that aspect of it, but yet they don't know the Passover part of it. All right. And then the people who call themselves the chosen, I'll say, the Khazars, as we know them today, small hats, they'll do the Passover part, but then they don't do the eating the bread and drinking of the wine, all right, to commemorate Yahweh's sacrifice. All right, so Matthew chapter 26, that's why you have to eat the whole roll. This entire thing goes into all of that. I'm gonna start at verse 7 and going to 13. There came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointments, and poured it on his head. His is Yahushua, and he sat at meat. And when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, "To what purpose is this waste?" And we read this last night at the Passover, and the elder, he joked and he said, that's what our IUIC would say. Oh no, hold on, we could have sold that. Always looking to make filthy lucre, all right, off the people. Verse 9, for this ointment might have him, so like it might have been sold for much and given to the poor. And Yahushua understood it. When Yahushua understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. All right. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also that this woman hath done be told for a memorial of her, right? And when we're remembering the cause, all right, the power of the Father Yahweh and the glory and the sacrifice of Yahweh Shai, all right, we're gonna that this is gonna be told for a memorial of that woman who put the oil on Yahweh Shai's head, all right, and the Christians, they don't speak about this woman, all right, because they don't talk about the anointing that she did for him, all right, and the what's the name, the Khazars, the small heights, don't talk about it as well, all right. So it shows that their gospel, the false gospel that they preach, isn't real, all right. But we have to make sure that we eat the whole roll and remember the cause, remember the entirety of the thing, all right. I'm gonna jump to verse 17. All right, because it's a very beautiful thing that woman did, and with that, she wrought a good work, and now we're here to tell the tale of that. All right, remembering the cause of it, remembering the beginning, remembering everything, and that's what the Passover helps you to get back to. We'll be consumed with mortal thoughts. I don't want to say consumed, but we have mortal thoughts, and we have to make sure that we just let go of that. All right, and the Passover is a great reminder of that. Going into this new year, this new proper year now, not what Esau deems as a new year, but going into this new year now, we have to make sure that we're always keeping the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua on the forefront of our minds, making sure that we're truly dwelling in His Word, doing our best to be a light in this dark place. I'm gonna jump to verse 17. It says, now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Yahushua, saying unto him, where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? And that's such an important piece, because everyone talks about the Last Supper. Everyone talks about, that it was his Last Supper before he went and got crucified. All right. But no one talks about how that the supper itself was the Passover. All right. And he said, go into the city to such a man and say unto him, the master saith, my time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples. And the disciples did as Yahushua had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. And that's a beautiful thing. It's something that the Lord told us to keep with all within Salakia. It's something that the Lord told us to do with all our generations. All right. And Yahushua participated in it as well. So we have to walk in the same footsteps of Yahushua. So of course we will follow the tradition. All right. Follow the holy, the sanctification of that day, rehearsing the righteous acts, putting on as Yahushua, putting on as the elect. All right. This is verse 26. And jumping to verse 26 of Matthew chapter 26. And as they were eating, Yahushua took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, take, eat, this is my body. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament. Right? People talk about, Christians are really infatuated with this part. All right, him being sacrificed, they're infatuated with this part, but they're only infatuated with this part. All right, they don't remember the cause. All right, they don't remember the entirety of the thing. All right, because yes, he did it for a New Testament, right? But he did it for, well, I'm gonna keep reading, which is shed for many for the remission of sins, right? For but many for the nation of Israel, not many for the whole world. All right. Verse 29, but I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my father's kingdom, right? In his father's kingdom, the inheritance, all right, the covenant, the testament, all those things are show that is only for a certain group of people. All right, not all are going to make it to his father's kingdom, his father. All right, and then even more so, I forget the scripture, but uh, all those that are thine are mine, and whoever is mine are thine. You know, remembering the cause, remembering why we are doing this, remembering why we're going, uh, why we're going through pain in this world, all right, being afflicted. You know, because we're doing our best to be righteous in this wicked society. All right, remembering the cause, uh remembering and being thankful that Yahweh Shai, went forth with it, and that Yahweh did it for us to be back unto Him. All right. So it's a very beautiful thing. It's a very, very beautiful thing, beautiful time we're in to see these prophecies play out. And I'm gonna leave a link to the description of the brother's lesson if I remember. And I pray and hope this lesson was edifying. Shalom.